All right, so we're back. Got my brother JR here. We're excited to connect with you guys. Always, as usual, different mothers, same fathers. We're going to give you today some tools. I recently spoke at one of my buddy's events. Presentation went longer than what it should, so I didn't get to share the tools, and I was told to specifically give them tools. So this is for you
Whoops.
guys. Yeah, whoops. This is for you guys. Legacy family. I'm going to share some tools, and then we're also going to post this on our YouTube channel so that if you want, we're going to give additional tools after we go over the main tools here. So if you want to stay on, you can stay on. If you want to just listen to the tools, that's cool too. I'm going to pop open the slide and then look at that.
We got production value. You're telling me we got slides now? What is this? You're getting too corporate for me, pal.
I am, you know me. All of our regular people don't feel bad. You will get a copy of the presentation and everything else once they send it to me. So once they get it to me, I'll send it to you guys. All right, so here are some of the tips that I wanted to leave.
You
Say it
really
again.
did that? Really
What?
did that to these people? You want to share with slides with all those words like that?
Yeah, man. You know,
Yeah.
slides have words. This is my first. I feel like a wedding crashers. This is my first Asian. Okay, this is my first Asian. You got to support your brother, bro. Okay. One of the tips that is really important, I felt that we didn't go over, is meditate. And the tip I would give you, anyone that's going to go on this path, is meditate or pray or whatever it is your practice is, your spiritual practice, for a minute. Ideally, first thing in the morning. Don't get on the phone. Get up, do whatever you got to do in the morning. Go to the restroom, whatever, and then just meditate for the minute. Like, go commune for that first minute. And what I feel when I was first starting on this path, the person who put me on this path, my homeopathic doctor, Dr. Kirby, he told me do a minute in the morning and a minute at night. I mean, that's what he gave me. He gave me a minute. My teacher, my master, gave me a minute in the morning, my sensei, and a minute at night. And I said, Doc, I just can't control the mind. I lose myself, and then I have to come back, and I feel like it's just the whole time I spent wrestling with myself. And he's like, well, that's the point. You are wrestling with yourself to bring back to your attention. You're wrestling with yourself so that you can control your attention, and when you've lost the attention. So initially, when you start out, that's the whole purpose of meditation. So much like a bicep curl is a tool for your bicep, meditation is a tool to build awareness. I mean, it really is that simple. So the thing why meditation or prayer is so powerful is when you get distracted, when you go off course, when you go unconscious, meditation is a tool. Awareness is a tool that lets you know, hey, it's time for a tool. Hey, I've gone unconscious. Hey, I went down the path. I went down the other road. I went down the old road. I went down the current model of manifestation. Hey, let's get back. Let's get back. So that's why meditation is a tool like meditation is so powerful. Jay, I'm going to pause at that tool, and then I would love your feedback on what your thoughts were there.
That goes back to the idea of getting the connection. And this is one of the things that I've been sitting with, and something that you and I have spoken about on the show is starting the day with the connection to the divine. As you say, for me, it's starting the day with connecting to God, but then keeping that connection, and meditating also makes me think of being present, and being present means you can't be in the future and the past, you're in the now. And so that starts clearing the signal so that you can reconnect. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's an awareness tool to see when you got off track. And like everything, the more you do it, the more aware you can do this in the middle of the day. And one of the examples that I didn't get to share when I spoke is a simple example, but I really love this example. It kind of came to me in a meditation, believe it or not. It was, think of meditation as you are the sky and you are observing the thoughts, and the thoughts are the clouds. You're going to identify with the cloud. You're going to get caught up, and it'll take you on a magic cloudy ride, right? Instead of a magic carpet ride, it'll take you on a magic cloudy ride. But the goal is, hey, I went on this ride. Let me come up. Let me get out of the cloud, and I'm the sky. Let me step away and notice that I am the sky, observing. I'm the watcher. They call it witness consciousness. I am the watcher of the thought. I am not the creator of the thought. I am the watcher of the thought. I'm the observer, the neutral observer. I'm the sky. And over time, initially, when you first start, you're going to have a lot of that back and forth, cloud back, cloud, sky, right? But over time, you spend more time in the sky than you do getting caught up in the clouds. And then over time, what happens is you spend the majority of time as a sky. And then you know what happens? You enjoy the fucking sunshine. Only the sky can enjoy the sunshine, right? Notice that the clouds block the sunshine. And what is the sunshine? It's abundance, right? It's a gift of God. It's bliss, it's joy, it's love. So the more you can open up and enjoy the sunshine, that's ultimately a measure of progress. Jay, I figured you were going to love that one. I would love to get your feedback on that.
No, I like the that's an even prettier picture. The clouds are that break in the connection. It's
Yeah.
foggy. What's keeping us connecting to the sunshine. So I dig it.
Yep. Awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. This has been powerful for me recently, and I've been doing more of it after our last call with Ben. At night, release and forgive this day. So what I generally do at night for a second, I say, hey, I forgive and I release this day. It has been perfect and it is done. And it was very good. And I just kind of see the day drift and let it go. It takes me less than a minute. But ultimately, my intention is, hey, look, I did my best with the day. And like a book on a bookshelf, I just take that book, I close it, and I put it back on the bookshelf. Because that book isn't mine. It's somebody else's book. I just did the best I could with the book for the day. And I release it so that I can get calm and peaceful rest. Because otherwise, if you don't, and you're thinking about the problem or you're thinking about the situation, and you go to bed like that, that's going to continue and it's going to cause you to lose sleep. So in essence, this piece, there's two pieces in that. One is to let go of the day. The second, more powerful piece is this forgiveness piece. Forgiveness is such a beautiful tool. And you're never forgiving anybody out there because no one never did anything to you. Forgiveness is a practice of forgiving yourself. What are you forgiving yourself for? Any false judgments. You're thinking something that isn't real, so you're forgiving that. And if you need to ask for forgiveness from somebody else, make the ask. Because it's never about them, it's about you. And forgiveness never hurts anybody. I've asked forgiveness this week from 2 different people, and there was nothing going on. But I'm like, why not? Like, if I feel that the relationship's kind of a little weird, I go, hey, look, bud. Hey, JR, man, look, if I did something to upset you, my brother, or I said something, dude, I'm sorry, man. Forgive me. No, that wasn't my intent. My heart was pure. And if I did something that may have upset you, man, dude, my bad, brother. I love you. That's literally what I sent it to a few guys. And both of them responded, dude, everything's cool. Everything's fine. So it's really a blissful energy, forgiveness to live in. And I've just started to like mess with that more and more every day. And you don't even have to do it, say it to that person. You can just kind of say it in your mind and feel that forgiveness. It really sets the soul free, and it really sets you free of all that drama and tension. Jay, your thoughts? I know you're probably going to love this one too.
Yeah. So for me, as a Catholic man, we have something called, and I'm just starting this as well. I'm not well versed at it, but it falls in line with what you're saying. At the end of the day, we have something called the Daily Examen, which is a prayer practice, almost a meditation where you go through, see where you've encountered God in the day, see where you've strayed from God in the day, forgive yourself for that, and figure out how you're going to make tomorrow a better day. And that's all it is right? Letting it go. Yeah, I messed up. I'm a sinner. We're all sinners. Here's what I'm going to do to try to get better. And yeah, you will sleep better at night. Guaranteed.
100%. I mean, I notice a huge difference the days I do it and the days I don't. It's such a big difference. And I love something you said there too. Joe Dispenza talked about that, and I really got it now, but you mentioned it, so I'll bring it up again. Something I do in that minute before the meditation, I call it pregame, right? Before I go into the meditation or before I do the thing at night, I said, okay, let's get in my think box, right? Because once I go into the meditation, there's no more thinking. I'm in the meditation, period. Once I'm working out, there's no more thinking, right? Once I'm in, I'm in. But before, all right, Ray, hey, we're going to go on this meditation. I do this all the time. We're going to go in this meditation or this prayer for a minute. All right, cool. What are you bringing? Why are we doing this? Right? Because otherwise it gets stale, the practice. Why am I doing this? Well, for me, before I get into this, I'm doing this for self-love. I'm doing this as an act of self-love. I'm getting up in the morning to show the world, to commune, and more importantly, to show myself that I'm worthy of communing, that I'm worthy of loving myself. So yeah, I show up for myself. That fires me up. So now I'm committed to now I bring that energy, that uncompromising will to the meditation. And then the other thing I'll do is, hey, last time I did this meditation, I kind of lost myself in the clouds too much. I was thinking about different things and what I'm going to do in the future. When I'm, if I'm going to take the girls to school, I'm running late to the gym with a couple of guys, and I really wasn't present. So my intention this one is to really commit. I got up earlier, so I wasn't running against that time. I got plenty of time, and I really want to just go deep this time. So those are the two things I do. What is my intention? What am I bringing to this meditation? If I had a chance to do it over again, what would I do different? And I bring those two things to this current meditation. Jay, what are your thoughts on the think box and the play box?
Setting it up and doing it with intention. No better way to live.
And then I love this tool. Number 3 is the heart breathing for 3 minutes. And it's just as simple as that. Hey, anytime you feel yourself getting stressed, or anytime you know that, hey, it's a tenant calling and you know you got to take that call, or in some cases your mother-in-law calling, and or she's coming over, right? You know it's going to get you a little heated. But just stop for a second and see that breath, visualize that breath going in and out of the heart for 5 seconds. Breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out into the heart. This technique will calm you down and will get you to really operate in a parasympathetic state, in a state where you're like calm and relaxed, and it makes you more of who you really are, right? This versus just reacting and like being a machine. And it gets you to be present in the moment, and gratitude. Soon as you breathe into the heart, you become a different person. So this is something you can do anytime, even as you're having a meeting with someone you know is going to be difficult. Just breathe into your heart. So that's a very powerful one, Jay.
Pray. I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep doing the Catholic side of it. I'm going to do pray, right? Pray before all situations. Pray before you answer that tenant call. Pray that you can be more patient. But I'm with you, right? But that's like taking a breath. It's removing yourself from that anxiety of the situation before you get into it, so you can go in peacefully.
Yep, that's really in essence what you're doing. We're just saying 2 different ways of doing the same thing. So use whatever works for you, right? I mean, the great thing is Jay and I have different paths, but they ultimately lead to the same outcome, right? And again, if you guys want to check out all the science behind the HeartMath, the science is there. There's over 500 published papers, peer reviewed. You can go to HeartMath and check all that out. They've got a free course there for you guys if that's something you're interested in. Practice the heart coherence. Practice asking the coherent heart for solutions. So what you do here is, once you breathe into the heart and you open up the heart, then ask the heart, because the heart is the creative center. It's the source of intuition. It's the source of wisdom, right? Especially if you're an entrepreneur. They did this study, and they did a study of 100 entrepreneurs that had done 3 successful businesses or more, right? Serial entrepreneurs. And when they asked them all at HeartMath, they did this. When they asked them all, hey, what would you, because like to succeed in entrepreneurism, 80% fail the first 5 years or less. And then the remaining 80 fail the next 5, right? So the first 5 don't clear, the next 5 do. And then these are people that had 3 or 4 times successful businesses. You know what they said? It was trusting their heart and trusting their intuition. 80% of them said that. Well, the intuition is of the heart. So if you want to be more intuitive and you want to get better answers, go inward. And again, in Jay's language, it's probably to be the kingdom of heaven is inside you. You can do this. We can carve this puppy up a million ways, but in essence, go inward and leave that question in the sanctuary of the heart. Once you breathe into the heart and you focus your attention in the heart, ask the heart that question. Hey, what would you have me do? What give me some ideas. You got to first get into that heart breath. Then as you're in there, think of a positive emotion, whether it's gratitude, appreciation, love, like joy, whatever that elevated emotion is for you, visualize and feel that, and then ask the heart that question. This is the one we did the experience with Tony Robbins at the event. Jay, your thoughts on item number 4?
Yeah, I'm with you. So many of us are looking for answers to questions in the external when the answers are within us. And I look at it, and we've talked about this before on other shows, is that's humility. I don't have the answer, but I'm looking for the answer. Being open to having that contact with the divine or with the Father, or however you want to look at it. And then surrender, right? The way that we talk about it here is surrender your problems to the Lord. So open that up, give it to him, share with him, and allow him to help you find that answer that you've been looking for. And so, I mean, this is stuff we've talked about on the show over and over again.
Yeah, I love that. You're almost like offering up to a higher source, a higher intelligence, right? A source, right? And a higher, as you wrote down, as you spoke, I was writing down, it really requires trust, right? Because surrender without trust doesn't happen. You have to trust this higher self. You have to trust the Holy Spirit. You have to trust whatever you believe in, that in yourself, that'll give you that answer, right? Being a great investor, in my opinion, humbly, is really all about self-trust. is how well you trust yourself. So we're just kind of practicing that here. And again, all of these tools, what I love about them is that they're practices. They're meant to be practice. It's not like you're going to get it perfect day one, like almost like a yogic practice. This is like love your practice. Like some days it's going to be off, some days are better than others, but I showed up to my practice and I can control my intention. Like not even control, I can influence the intention I bring to it, the energy levels, the effort level, my will. But everything else, I just showed up, and that's good enough. Willingness, guys. Willingness. That's a word. Thank you. The willingness to show up. Go ahead,
The
brother.
one that Ben gave us, bro, I think is the one that's just been sitting on my mind nonstop. Being available.
Yeah.
And so being available to get that answer, being available to be in the right situation, those things that we just fill our day up with everything we can to keep us distracted when maybe the answer is doing less. And that's hard
Yes.
for us,
Yes.
like you and I, to swallow.
Doing less than like we spoke about with the call with Ben, which was the last one on our YouTube series. Just being open and available, right? And being childlike, right? It's empty-headed, right? When you're empty-headed and open, that's when the answers come. And they usually come inward out. And the nice thing about this, when you guys use some of these practices, the answer is going to be directly for you. Meaning I can go outward and look for an answer, and maybe that answer helped somebody else or was good for this person. And that's great. That might be a good tool. I'm not saying it isn't. But when you go inward, that answer is specifically for you. It's unique to you. Yeah. So that's some of the beauty in it. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's kind of free to go inward and practice. Tool number 5, 5 minutes a day. Visualize and mentally rehearse. Remember, we spoke about at the presentation that the mind doesn't know the difference between something it vividly imagines and something that it's real. It doesn't know. The same neural networks get fired, right? So we proved that in the presentation. So visualize and really feel it. Sit down, close your eyes, whatever you got to do, and feel, hey, who am I committed to being today? This is like a think box example. Hey, who am I going to be today? And then at the end of the day, how well did I live that? What emotions do I want to live in today? Hey, yeah, I want to create abundance, but in the process, I want to be grateful. I want to be appreciative. I want to feel love. I want to feel joy. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want it to make impact. Feel these emotions. You can feel them now. You don't have to wait till the event happens so you can feel these emotions. The purpose of this new way of manifestation, of this OG way of manifestation, is you can feel those and be that now. And matter of fact, to the brain and body, it's already happened. And then ultimately, as the day goes on, step number 3 or substep number 3 is you put in your max effort and your will, right? The willingness, your uncompromising will to overcome Goliath. And what is Goliath? The old self, right? Because the old self is going to show up for you, the old habits, the old addictions, the old personality. We're looking to embody and live the new personality. The new personality will create a new personal reality. The new fit person the new fit person has a new personal reality, right? That's a new personality. If you're going to get fit, you need first a new personality, because that old personality is unfit. This new personality that's fit has different habits, has different thoughts, has different ways of being. And that's what we're looking to condition. And how do you condition anything? One, you enjoy it and you just keep doing it. You keep practicing it. You keep showing up as if. You act as if you believe it, right? You believe it. Remember, we spoke about this. You believe it, you become, you believe it, you behave as it, and you become it. Believe, then match the behaviors, and then ultimately you become it. You're living it. It's who you are. You don't have to think about it anymore. That's the goal here, is to really condition this new way of being.
Now, this reminds me of something I did this year, where I sat down at a cafe and just had myself a little think, a little bit of coffee, and wrote a list on 2 pages of my book, what I want and what I don't want, and just was really honest about the things I wanted and didn't want, so that I could get down to, okay, what matters then? What are the things then that really matter out of this list? And what am I going to focus on? Which is what I hear you talking about here. Who are you committed to being, right? So I'm going to be this person. And so now measure is so simple. Somebody asked me, how are you so disciplined with your family, with your faith, all that stuff? And I said, I'm actually not. I just know that there's 2 simple questions. Is this getting me closer to who I'm supposed to be, or further? And if I can just live my life with that simple questions, further or closer, further ditch it, closer do it. I could live in intention. And part of that is Yeah. Being mentally aware of who you want to be and then practicing it, even when they say fake it till you make it, right? Practicing it, even if you don't feel like it.
That's it. And that's what I meant by the uncompromising will. Because there's going to be times when it's easier to do the old thing. It's easier to do the old addiction. It's easier to go back to not working out. It's easier to go back to the old way of being. But keep showing up for yourself, that uncompromising will. And also, what I love about these 5 steps that we're giving you is they reinforce each other. When Jay said, hey, and when I go off track, well, how does he know he's off track? Because he's got a meditation, a prayer practice. Hey, this is not how I want to be. Because if he goes down that magic cloudy ride, he knows where that ends. But he's got to get out of that cloud and focus on where he wants to go, right? So that you're living in this new self. And when you go back to the old self, that's part of change. We're all going to go back to the old self, all of us. Hey, just retrain the animal, retrain the focus, get clear on your intention. The sooner you do that, that's the becoming process. It's forgetting who you used to be and remembering who you want to be. Forget who you used to be and remember who you really are. Remember who you want to be. This is all a process of remembering. Everyone in here knows how to do this already. This is not anything new. Jay and I didn't invent this, right? This is stuff that's been done for thousands of years. It's a process of dying to the false self and really awakening, remembering who the true self is. I mean, that's as simple as I could put it, Jay.
I mean, that's it. We're constantly growing. I think one of the other things that you'll hit here is the idea of, who in becoming. One of the roadblocks that you're going to hit is the people around you might hold you back, right? Oh, you're becoming so different. Oh, you're changing so much. Who do you think you are? So there's the other piece of that is getting around the environment of people who support that growth. That's what's going to happen here is as you're doing these daily practices, you become a new person, and the people in your life expect you, as Ray says, to show up a certain way. And now you're showing up differently and they don't know what to do with you. So they want to change you back. You got to get yourself. That's the other piece that's not here. Daily exercise, find some better friends, find a better network, find people who lift you up and are looking to live a different way. That's the other piece.
That's so powerful, Jay. This morning, I was working out with a group of guys that I work out, and both of them are like in great shape. Both of them, they'll probably beat me in 80-90% of the exercises we do. And we were talking, and it's kind of like what Jay-Z was saying when it came up this morning. What, you think I worked this hard to stay the same? Because we were talking about Ja Morant and the stuff he's doing with the guns and everything else, and he got fined out of the league. And I'm like, why would you work so hard to stay the same and keep that old environment? So now you lost hundreds of millions of dollars. The same thing is true here. Like, find an environment that supports who you want to be. And if it's not and chances are 100% of them isn't going to be the old environment, because the old environment is used to seeing you in the old way. So you've got to find a new environment now that supports this new way of being. And this is why change is hard. Yeah, we're talking about changing yourself and creating a new personality that you want to create. And yeah, it's hard because, Jay, not only is the outside world against you, right? Because they're used to seeing you a certain way, your current friends and your relationships, but the inside world is against you. Your self is against you. Your old self is against you. The mind is against you. Your beliefs are against you. The body's against you. Your old addictions are against you, right? The environment, because you've got shitty food in the fridge. The environment's against you. So this is why change is so hard. And it's a 2-step forward, one thing, 1 step back. But if you're committed and you're uncompromising, you'll get there. And you actually make those changes, and you actually surrender and trust that, hey, this is the way I'm going and this is the path. And I love people, Jay, like this. I love people that it's inspiring. And no matter what, man, I'm going to be uncompromising in my will here. I'm going to show up for myself when I'm tired. I didn't get any sleep. I'm going to go meditate anyway. I love these people, Jay, that they don't make an excuse. Sure, they fall back, and there's times when they don't feel like it, and there's times when they lose faith and belief. Sure, that happens to me, but I don't not show up. And I love these people, because if you keep showing up for yourself, over time you're going to get there. And if you can change the environment, who you hang around with, and who's around you and what you're listening to, man, that's magic. That's magic right there.
I mean, when did we meet? Was it 2018 or 19? I don't know. But I think
it was 19. Yeah, it was 19, 18, 19. Yeah.
Get into that environment with somebody with some different thinking, take that advice, and your life changes, right? 75 hard, no more drinking, different body, different relationship to self, different person today, all from hearing the right words from the right person at the right time and doing something with it. It's just powerful, powerful to living the life that I think that we're supposed to be living right now.
Yeah, I read something this morning, that book I shared with you guys, The Way of Mastery, and he spoke about this morning. It's like, some of them, some of them hear it, right? But then they don't actually like live it. Some of them hear it and they kind of, take it a little bit further, but some of them live it, embody it, and then commit it to practice every single day, right? Commit to a new consciousness, a new way of being every single day. And those are the ones that ultimately get there, that ultimately achieve a new way of being. Because yeah, we get the it truly is. I can't think of a better example than David against Goliath, and Goliath is you. It really is overcoming yourself, but it's possible. And you know what? The truth, there's a lot of Goliaths. There's not a lot of Davids, and I want to be around Davids. Keep getting around Davids in your life that don't settle, that believe it's possible, that keep showing up for themselves no matter what, and have a lot of faith, and no matter what, keep showing up. So that uncompromising will and willingness to love yourself and show up for yourself over time pays huge dividends. Yeah.
What do you say to a review of the tools? I'll go down there and you can add some commentary or color. So we make sure to review them. So number one was meditate for 1 minute first thing in the morning. Anything to add there?
I think just really be intentional with that. Be intentional in terms of like, hey, yesterday I was off a little bit. When a meditation practice gets stale, it's you made it a habit now, and you forgot the reason you're doing it. So like really get into the why am I doing this? Because your level of feeling and emotional intensity, really for me, it's what makes that connection more and more powerful when I go do that.
Before sleep, number two, before sleep, release and forgive the day. 1 minute.
Just feel it. Feel yourself releasing it, and just know you did the best. Hey, I forgive and I release this day. I did the best I could, and it's done. And it was very good. And let it go. Just like when he created the earth on day 7. Hey, it's very good. I rest. That you want that quality of feeling when you end your day. Jay, you're smiling. What are you smiling,
basically,
my brother?
2 minutes. 2 minutes to change your day, right? I mean, and what happens here, that's what I dig about this, is 2 minutes to change your day, 1 minute in the morning, 1 minute at night. And what happens is once you get a taste of it and you start actually doing it, 1 minute's not enough. But
100%.
At least committing to the 1 minute is so easy. So smart move.
Dos
you made
minutos.
It 1 minute, right? 2 minutes a day, right? Who doesn't have 2 minutes a day is the question. All right. Number 3, use heart breathing for 3 minutes when stressed.
When stressed, or before, what you guys know when you're gonna get into a stressful situation. Hey, if I see my phone ringing and it's a tenant, I'm breathing in my heart right there. I might have to take that call, but I do a few breaths. Like, hey, I whatever it is. Hey, my mom-in-law is coming and take the girls. Deep breaths right in the heart. Right, deep breaths, right? And then I'm more loving, I'm more patient, I'm more kind with her, because it's really about being compassionate. And the heart is the one that's compassionate, loving, forgiving, kind, right? Because the mind wouldn't do that to her. Like, hey, just go here, go here. No, look, explain it to her. She's nervous, love on her. So whenever you really need to, before you send an email out and you're sending a reactionary email, breathe into the heart. Hey, should I send this email out now? Right? Should I say this to Cupcake? Should I say this to my wife? Chill.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. And you know what I learned this week at therapy was like, you know what? She's probably right. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's true. She probably is right.
Ouch.
Yeah. Very ouch.
There, take that to the egos. Right to your egos.
Yep.
Practice asking the coherent heart for solutions.
Once you do the breaths, and then you remember, do the breaths, get into that state, feel positive, a positive, elevated state. So it could be love, gratitude, whatever, like feel that in your heart, and then ask the heart, hey, what would you have me do here? What do you think we can do here? I don't know. Give me some answers, and get in that state and stay in there as you ask the heart, and you'll get intuitive, wise answers that the mind isn't giving you. You'll get completely different answers, because the heart is the intuitive center. It's the creative center. It's the one that knows. The mind thinks, the heart knows. Trust it. This is intuition. The heart is a center for intuition, and 80% of entrepreneurs, of serial entrepreneurs, said it was intuition is what made it successful. Intuition is of the heart.
Number 5, 5 minutes a day, visualize, mental rehearse.
This
Who
one's
are you committed to being? Number 1.
Yep.
2, connect with your intention and elevated emotion. And 3,
Yep.
max effort and will to overcome the old self.
This is your daily practice, your daily rehearsing of who am I committed to being and why am I committed to being that, and then feeling and embodying that. You're putting that into the body, because the body and the mind doesn't know the difference. They do not know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that's a real event. To them, it's the same. You condition the body and the mind as if the event and the experience has already happened, and you bring forth such a level of intensity and uncompromising will that the mind and body say, whoa, hey, he means it this time. He's serious, right? When you give a command to creation, which is the mind body, man, you got to get big. If you're going to create like the divine, you got to feel divine. You got to be divine. You can't think you're divine. You can't, right? You've got to know you're divine. And then when you create and you command matter, man, you got to get big. You got to want that. And it just flows from that. If this is how you command matter, the energy and the intensity you bring to this has to be greater than the energy intensity of the old program. If you don't bring more effort, uncompromising will, emotional intensity, the hair on your neck and arms raises up when you're commanding matter. If that's not happening, you're back in the old program. You need such a level where Goliath goes, okay, he means it. Sit the fuck down. He's in charge. David's in charge. Otherwise, it does not work. And eventually, as you continue to command matter, as you continue to command Goliath, he sits down and he surrenders to you. And he trusts you.
Oh man, so we got the review, the 5 tools. What else? Anything else?
No, unless you wanted to connect on. So we wrapped up the tools. If you guys want to stop listening here, you can. But and on the other side, JR, actually, there's one more tool here. If you guys want the separate here on the bottom, if you guys want to get this device,
the bonus tool number 6, I forgot, was the community, getting around better guys, getting around better thinking, and getting a hand up for where you're trying to be.
The environment, guys. I mean, Tony Robbins says it's the power of environment. I mean, sure, you know, I think that the biggest thing is who you're committed to becoming, right? That's the biggest thing, right? That's in here. But man, the environment can really make some big changes. So I have an environment for me. For example, I'll give you a gym example. I've got 2 other buddies who are stronger, generally more fit than I am, and I make it a point to work out with them. Because if I fall off track on a diet or nutrition, then I can't stay in that group. And that group has a standard that they won't let me off. And it's fun to be part of that group. So, but you can find environments like that, whether it's your marriage or your personal growth or your faith. Find an environment to support the person you want to become, the person you're becoming. Did I sum that up, Jay?
Not powerful.
And if you can, if you want this little tchotchke, you can go to HeartMath and buy that. They have a free course on heartmath.com. These are all the scientists that created this little tool. And what the tool does, it actually gives you a measurement of how well your heart and mind are in coherence, how well your heart and mind are in alignment. So how well you're doing the breath, how well you're asking the heart. That's all it does. It's a tool to measure that performance. And as you live in that state of gratitude, which is one of the things you do as you do the visual mental rehearsal, it'll measure how well you're in coherence with the brain and the heart, how well you're doing the practice. So it's a tool to measure how well you're doing the practice. Do you need the tool? No. The majority of the times lately, I don't use the tool. Every once in a while, I'll use it to just kind of see where I'm at and see if I'm getting better or not here and there. I don't judge myself if I had an off day, but it's a tool. And for those of you that like tools to track performance, it's a great tool. Now, changing gears, we spoke about another tool, which I will publish an article. And I mentioned the article on the stage, and I'll publish the article. I'll publish the article here on Medium. The article is about, I call it, what is your piece of ability score? So in essence, the tools we spoke about there, and this is the tool I used to go from the first deal, that first deal that we talked about that was really super complicated, to then the most recent deal, this deal here that I talked about, the most recent deal that I did with such ease and grace. So I'm walking you through the framework and the questions I'm asking myself to go from the old personality who made that first deal to this new personality that made this deal. I'm walking myself through the process. And one of the questions was, what am I optimizing for? What am I doing here? Like, what for? What is the purpose of this? That's the first question. Like, as you're doing these deals, as I walk myself through it, what is the purpose? Why am I doing this? Now, the unconscious person doesn't even ask the question. They're just maximizing everything. There's no opportunity cost. They're just, hey, the default, the unquestioned assumption is, hey, I'm going to maximize everything. And what does maximize mean? To make the most of. I'm gonna maximize profits without ever looking at what it's gonna cost them. So that's the unquestioned assumption. That's the unconscious assumption. And then you go out and you struggle, you sacrifice, right? You forget whatever it costs you. You're not conscious. You just kind of go. Okay, in this model, in this question, I asked myself, okay, why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this? What for? I want to see if I can show up differently. I want to see right here in the bottom, I want to see if I can show up differently to what shows up. Can I be comfortable doing this differently? Can I let go? Can I surrender? Can I trust? Oh yeah, that's fun. Okay, I was scared, right? Like there was an uncomfortableness to it, right? Because now I've got to trust other people and I've got to show up in this way. And I've told my team I'm not gonna send out a bunch of emails and bang the phones, right? So, okay, all right. So question number one, am I gonna maximize profits? What am I optimizing for? Or am I gonna optimize? And optimize means to strategically allocate resources. I'm going to optimize for inner peace first. Life-changing. So if my first default is I'm going to forget the default of maximize. My default is I'm looking to optimize inner peace. And if it costs me my inner peace, like Paulo Coelho said, it's too expensive. So I'm optimizing for inner peace. Okay. So now okay. And then profitability, sure, it's got to make sense, but that's secondary. Cool. Third question. Powerful question now. What's it going to cost me? Everything has a cost. And what happens with most entrepreneurs is they never ask the question and write out on papers, what is this going to cost me mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally? Everything that you do, every action has a cost. Let's get clear on what that cost is. And if we're willing to pay the price, nothing wrong with, hey, but let's be conscious about our unconscious assumptions. We're always talking about becoming conscious, right? If we're going to live the conscious life, then this is a part of the question. Okay, well, in this example, I'm optimizing for peace. What's it going to cost me? Well, I'm going to invest some time. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? Let's ask a better question. What am I willing to do now that I'm optimizing for inner peace? What am I willing to do? And where is it going to cost me some peace? Like, right? All right, cool. Let me give you a physical example. Am I going to email my entire database and put it on Facebook and post on Instagram and call all my investors and have 100 talks to people? No. I don't want, no, I'm costing too much of my peace. Okay, well, what am I willing to do? Man, I love these 10 guys and I love this deal. So these 10 guys that are great investors, that are my homies that I'm going to talk to anyway, like these are my homies and like, they're like, I want to share this deal with them because like, A, they're great people, and B, it's a great deal. So, and if nothing happens, I'm going to connect with them anyway. So it's a win. Okay. So these 10 guys, okay, cool. What else am I willing to do? Who can help me that I like work? Who can help me that I like working with? Now, who can help me that I don't like working with? Or right? Or what can I get? Oh, my financial advisor. We always talked about doing something together. He missed out on the first one, so I'm sure he's got some buyer's remorse for missing out on the first deal. I'm gonna bring him in. He goes, Ray, I don't like retail. I go, B, just look at it. Just look at the documents, man. Just take a weekend, look at them, and let me know if you see what I see. Math, he's like, Ray, this deal's amazing. I go, I know. At least you're seeing what I'm seeing, right? Like, look at the numbers. Look at the way they de-risked it. Look at the deal. And he goes, yeah, and they're really good operators. I'm like, yeah, and the deal makes sense. Yeah. He goes, Ray, I'll help you raise money on this. Cool. All right. So I helped him. We helped each other. He sent it out to his team. At this point, I haven't done anything to talk to the sponsor and try and, what am I not willing to do? I'm not willing to go set up my own pool of funds, my own fund, and then have my own SEC documents, and then separate the pie again. Meaning, if the main pie is a 70-30 split, I'm not going to take a second cut of the apple, leaving the investor with less return. Like it wasn't that juicy of a deal. Plus, I didn't want the monthly accounting. I didn't want the monthly, quarterly reporting to the investors. I didn't want the drama of setting up a separate structure and then managing all that. Too much. Could I make more? Could I charge some fees? Yeah. And you know what? I'm willing to let go of some money. I'm willing to know that I could have made more some other ways, but it would have cost me too much of my peace. So I can't do that. And I choose not to do that. Okay. What else am I willing to do? That's about it. I'm willing to do due diligence on the deal, make sure the deal's good, and I like the deal, so I'm willing to put some time in that. and send some emails out to the guys I know, like, and trust, and follow up a little bit. But then I'm going to let it go and we'll see what happens. I'll see if I can raise money for a retail deal. I've never done that. Let's see what happens. And I'm going to learn some things. I'm willing to do that. Okay. So now I'm clear. I've got some set of boundaries of because I'm optimizing for inner peace. I have to set some boundaries of where my piece is going to be strained. Right. And doesn't mean I show up perfect. I still had times where I gave up my piece in here. Right. I still had times when the old Ray showed up, but it didn't show up for long because I told my team this is what I wanted. So within that framework, my wife didn't even notice I was doing this. I mean, she may have noticed once or twice, and then here's what it kind of culminated in. Once my financial advisor got the first person, because I didn't get the first person, he got them. I said, hey, look, I got somebody interested. They sent over some money. Hey guys, let's get together, you two guys that I don't know who run this fund and run this deal. And let's figure out what makes sense. Look, I want my guys to go directly to you. I want my investors to be taken care of. Number one, I want my investors to be taken care of and go direct to you. So I have to trust you guys that you're not going to go behind me and do anything funny. Number two, I love you guys and I love this deal. Number three, most important to me, I want you guys to feel good and I want me to feel good. I've never talked to these guys before, these other two guys. I want you guys to feel good and I want me to feel good at the end. I want us to be easy, guys. What works here? What works here? And guys, it's got to be big enough to incentivize me to go out there and raise capital for you guys, but not too big where I'm attached or my financial advisor's attached, right? No, and there's no attachment. My financial advisor didn't make anything on this. He just kind of sent the guys over. So it's got to make sense, right? To get me to move and get me to dance, because I am putting in work here. It's got to make sense. What's fair here, guys? They gave me a number. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We didn't sign a single document. It was on a handshake. I raised the rest of the money. Really, my financial advisor raised the majority of it. And then I got a few guys to kick in at the end. And then I help out my brother-in-law, which is kind of the one investor I helped out the most. So I was able to help him because he was a sophisticated, not accredited. I go, look, I'm willing to help him, like get him to this party, because otherwise he can't get into this party. So he's got this money sitting in an IRA that he can't use because he can't come in this club. So the guys work with me. Hey, we can let your brother in. He's sophisticated. We'll let him in this way. And it was a lot of work, but they made it happen. So now I help family. Didn't get too involved there. Help them. We have a great relationship now. They want to do more with me because I'm easy to work with. I send my guys directly. Yeah, I have to trust them that they don't go to my guys, but most of my guys aren't even mine. They're my financial advisors. And the guys that are mine, whatever, like I'll go get more guys, right? And it's not about them and the deal. It's about that I'm behind the deal, because I won't invest in all these guys' deals. It's about the value I bring by doing due diligence and knowing when to invest and what deals to invest in. It's not the who, it's when and how and why, the art behind it. Not so much, hey, I'm going to invest in every deal they have. No, because some of the deals aren't as good, and some of the deals, honestly, like I wouldn't do, right? There's too much risk for the reward. So in essence, that's exactly what I did to help me disidentify from the old way of being. But I had to write all this out. And in this article, I write it all out of what the pros and cons are, what are the costs. And yeah, it takes more time up front to get clarity on what you're willing to do and not willing to do. But once you get clarity and you set the rules, man, the outcome, I don't touch his deal at all. I just talked to this guy today, the guy who runs this deal today. I hadn't talked to him in months. I go, hey, do you have anything else? Like, we don't talk. All I see is checks come in. Like, literally, today I went to the Bank of America and I saw more checks come in. They don't even tell me, they just send it. Like, I don't send out reporting. I don't do any tax accounting. I don't do any handholding of investors. I know my investors, right? But they don't talk to me, they talk to them, right? So I just kind of connected people and I got out of the way and I trusted and I surrendered. And what was amazing about this, still to this day, is that I didn't know those two guys, the two guys that run the fund. I know one of the guys that was kind of like a junior guy, but the two guys that run the main guys, I didn't know them that well, or at all, one of them at all, because I went first and I trusted and I surrendered, and I put all my cards on the table. Look, I love you guys. I love what you guys are doing. I want my investors to come first. I want them to go directly to you guys. I trust you guys are my investors, and I trust you guys with my own capital, and I trust you guys to do the right thing. And I just want something that's fair. I want us both. I want to dance, but I need something to help me dance to make sure that it makes economic sense. And ultimately, I don't want this to be complicated. I want you to feel good at the end and be happy with this, and I want for me to feel good and be happy about this. And when I did that, you could have felt on the call, it disarmed them. They're like, dude, this guy's not asking for anything crazy. Like, yeah, what does he want? Let's just go, right? Like, so if you do that and you're in the guys that are open in the right room, for not right or wrong, but if you're in the area where people are aligned, and they'll open up. But trust and surrender requires you to go first. Because if you're expecting the world to show up differently, nah, homie, you got to go first. Jay, I said a whole lot.
Powerful. Great breakdown. Optimizing for peace. Boy,
Yeah,
optimizing for peace is my favorite.
Yeah, that was part of the article. It's optimizing for peace. That optimizing for peace is so huge because the world default is set for maximization. And the weird thing is no one questions it. This is when I'm writing this, as I'm meditating on it, no one questions maximization. Like no, this is just the way it is. Yeah, but at what cost?
Max your life.
Yeah,
Max
everything. Max everything to full max. I don't even do it with physical fitness. I take a couple of days off. If I went max to the max all the time, I'd be, and I'm usually, I'm a pretty good guy at fitness, going max to the max. But even I take days off and I rest, right? And I'm optimizing for peace and what feels good, right? So, and again, it doesn't mean you don't look at profitability and you don't look at economics, but it's not primary. It can't be primary. If you're gonna go after fulfillment of the soul and you're gonna go after the treasures of the heart, you're gonna go after peace, love, joy, forgiveness, ease, flow, and true joy, fulfillment along the way, you can't maximize. You can't maximize. Let me rephrase that. You can't maximize unconsciously. You can't go unconscious because then that leads to more struggle and lack and separation because it was made in that energy. Whatever energy something is created from is the energy that's going to determine its outcome. Right? Whatever energy something is the energy that something is created from determines its outcome. If the energy is separation, lack, hustle, strive, I got to make this happen, I got to maximize, that's the outcome. I don't care what the deal is. I don't care what the opportunity is. I don't care who the person is. If it's made in that energy, that's what you're going to get. If it's made in the peace and the love and the joy and the, hey, what makes sense for all of us? Hey, what serves the greater good? And how does it serve me too, right? But that becomes secondary after I'm optimizing for inner peace. Yeah, very different outcome. And you enjoy the process. More importantly, that's what it is. Because at the end, I don't take any of this shit with me. I don't give a shit that it was a deal. Like, whatever. It's a deal. I'm not like, whatever. I care that how I showed up. The win isn't the money in the deal or like whatever. Like, dude, like literally whatever. How I showed up and the experience and the connection I got from these guys and the connection to Bryce and us working together, the magic along the way and us kicking back and forth ideas and the flow and just kind of, that was fun. So I want to do it again, So if in the maximization model, you're like, I don't want to do it again. That's how you know you're maximizing a little bit, right? Like if you're in that place, I don't know here, I want to do it again. Not like I need to, I want to do it again. It was fun. Let's do it again. And from their perspective, like, Ray, look, today told me, like, hey, look, Ray, I'd rather raise the capital myself. Yeah, no shit. I know you'd rather raise the capital yourself if you could. But if not, Ray, you're on the short list, man. We'll call you first. And if we're short a little bit, we're calling you first. Like, yeah. And I'm like, why? Because it was easy. You're sending people directly to me. It's easy. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Everything else was like with other people and other people they work with, it's clunky, it's hard. They're negotiating with them. Like they're not on a team. They're like just kind of negotiating with each other. I'm like, no, like optimizing for inner peace, man. The power in that. I know, right, Jay, you read the article and everything else, but it seems like you really like that idea of setting some boundaries and some constraints so that you make sure of where's your peace getting disturbed, right? Where, and that's going to be different for everybody. That's a slider ball scale. Like, hey, where, right? Someone who's earlier in their career, they might have to sacrifice a little bit more peace. I'm going to just keep it 100. They might have to do a little bit more, right? Because, dude, you're new. But, if JR's taking on a new podcast client, guess what, man? He's been doing this a long time. If that podcast client cost him his peace, he's saying peace to that client.
They cost me my peace to you.
Yes, isn't it true?
Yeah, man. No question about that. I think I'm optimizing for being available for God's call, for my family, for everything, even work stuff, but being available for the right things.
Yeah. Well, that being available for the right things is optimizing for inner peace.
Yeah.
Because if it isn't, then it's not going to be in peace. The first rule of the heart is peace. If you can't get to peace, joy and love are fucking miles away. Peace is the basis of the heart. It's the basis of these emotions we're looking for.
Dig it, man. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, we'll post it. I'll post the article once JR approves it, and he does all his edits. He'll send me some red lines and stuff like that. He's very thorough in that. Yeah. Anything you want to leave him with, JR?
No, that's it, man. Optimizing for peace. Like it. I like it. What's better than that?
Yeah. And the thing I'll leave you guys with is, man, just like really powerful for me. The more I meditate and pray and do these things, show up for yourself as an act of self-love. Like really, self-love is everything. Like at the base, if I had to nail it down to like one word that would really change everything, love yourself. And if you could love yourself and learn to love yourself as the creator loves you, man, that's powerful. The basis of everything, in my opinion, of the spiritual path is self-love. Enjoy the practices, love yourself, and let me know. Give us some feedback on how well you enjoyed this. Thank you, guys. Love you guys.